Ready?
Move to Rhode Island.
Da 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 da
Da
da
da da da da da
da
da
da
da
da
da
da
da
da
da da da da da da da da da.
All right, so we're messing this up entirely. This is the CaffiNation 509. This is the special edition because I got a special arm, and it's been a week since everything actually worked out correctly here. I got surgery on my arm last Tuesday. The dog's down here. The cat's around here somewhere, and she's probably going to mess something up in short order. But we are down here in the CaffiNation lair. This is as live as it gets. We are broadcasting live over at live.caffination.com, and we try to do that every Wednesday at roughly 9:30 Eastern Standard Time now.
Yes.
Because we're standard and we're no longer daylight, because it's never really daylight when we record.
No.
But, hey, I'm Paul.
This is Steve.
And I like to try and catch him when he's about to drink some of his own caffeination. But we'd like to welcome you all to the show. This is a special edition. We got a whole bunch of stuff, some stuff written last week, some stuff not written until right before the show. We're trying to get you all the best and the brightest in the world of caffeine culture and technology news. So we think we found a pretty good crop of stuff to talk about. If you are looking for this podcast, you can find it lovingly nestled along with all of its episodic friends over at www.caffination.com. And if you're looking for me, you can email me at paul@CaffiNation.com, and you can find
me at steve@CaffiNation.com.
And today we have a special thing. If you were actually following along with the live show at home, we have the Steve Cam. So you now get to see right up front and personal on exactly what Steve looks like as I'm babbling on throughout most of the other stuff during the show. So when he laughs at the stupid stuff I say, you can see him chuckling if I choose to do that.
That's right.
The Steve Cam. And now we're back to the all-important multicam.
The multicam.
Multipass.
Multipass.
Lilu Dallas Multipass. That's what we're all about here at the CaffiNation. We like to talk all about different geek references. We have all kinds of fun stuff built into the show, and hopefully people won't get too offended by anything we say, because we are also part of the Tech Podcast Network. It's over at techpodcasts.com. All of the member shows have agreed to create child-safe, family-friendly, and educational stuff. I think we border on the educational sometimes. I think sometimes you learn something, sometimes you learn more what not to do.
But at least you'll learn something.
Yeah, like for instance, I would tell you that you should probably not get into a car accident because special things happen.
For a special guy.
Yeah, so it's, I try. I really do. But, yeah, there's a whole bunch of fun stuff happening down here at the CaffiNation headquarters. We have a whole bunch of different stories. So what did you do geeky this week there, Steve?
I don't think I did anything geeky this week.
Nothing geeky at all. Nothing.
I was geek-free this week.
Geek-free, sans geek? Completely sans geek.
That's right.
That's where we were left. Oh, you did Skyrim. Oh man, that's great. One of our listeners, Jennifer. So you just got that wonderful game. It's the Oblivion Scroll. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. It came out I think yesterday or the day before.
Came out yesterday.
I lost an entire week there, so I have no clue exactly what happened in the past week, except for there was some really weird stuff that happened in the news, and it took me a couple days to figure out that it was actually happening as opposed to just some kind of weird induced haze that happened. So there's a lot of fun stuff that happened, and it's pretty cool. So it came out 11/11/11. All right, good to know. I know Halo came out yesterday, Halo Legend Edition, because everything comes out on Tuesdays, right?
That is correct.
All right, so
And
Halo.
Assassin's Creed came out too.
Assassin's Creed. Did you get that one yet?
No, I didn't get none of them. Payday's
Nothing.
next week.
Payday's next week. Okay, I see what you mean. All right, well, the way that it appears that we're going to have to do this is you are going to have to actually answer all of our fine friends in chat, because that just died on me as well.
Oh boy.
Oh wait, no it didn't. There we go. And we're back.
Thank God.
This is one of those live shows where anything and anything will possibly happen. But you know what? All right, geeky this week. I don't know if zombie stuff classifies as geeky.
Well, it's geeky. Not. It's Zeke, yeah. But
it's Zeke. It's it's World War Zeke. But I finished watching The Walking Dead, the first season, so that was pretty cool. Worked a little bit more on the updated CaffiNation zombie plan. So if you have any of those, please send them into CaffiNation@gmail.com. And yeah. And Norbert is here, so thank you very much, Norbert, from the Totally Cool Tech Podcast for showing up, because he is a wonderful person. He is the sponsor for the Steve Cam today. I neglected to tell everybody that. So if you are seeing the Steve Cam, that is thankful to our people over at the Totally Cool Tech Podcast. I was hoping he was going to make it. All right, so we're having fun here today. Geeky this week for me was I got a couple things actually written, and I've been actually using the iPad a huge amount because it's a lot easier to type with one good arm on an iPad where you're just sitting there poking, as opposed to a keyboard where I got to wiggle the special one in order to do anything. Yeah, it's been kind of interesting, and right now you can see Steve looking a little bit disheveled today.
Just a little.
Just a little. Have you ever looked shoveled?
Describe shoveled.
I don't know, but if you're disheveled, can you look shoveled?
I could.
Okay, we can always try. Next week we'll both try and look very shoveled. Just so everybody knows that, you know. All right. So let's see what we got for you this week. The first story is actually yours over here this week. It's the Bionic bumper cars. What we got going there?
What this is basically your classic Rock'em Sock'em, but instead of, playing at the table, you're playing in a 16-foot square dome.
That's awesome.
Over at this is German, so I'm going to get it wrong. Hammacher Schlemmer.
Hammacher Schlemmer.
There you go.
Wait, actually, if we had Norbert on cam, if we were doing a hangout for this, he can rock the German.
He can.
So I mean, they're probably a little bit better, but you know.
But yeah, it's, basically for $17,000, you can own yourselves a set of the Rock'em Sock'em. Well, they're not called Rock'em Sock'em; they're called the Bionic bumper cars, which is.
It doesn't really make sense if they're punching each other.
Yeah, well.
But I mean, hey, you know what? For Hammacher Schlemmer.
Yeah.
But it sounds a little bit like Hans and Franz.
Yeah, Hans and Franz.
Actually, that's what you would have to name them, as Hans and Franz, if you were really going to go to it.
Instead of the Red Rocker and...
I forget what the blue one was called. Does anybody know what the blue robot was called? Hammacher Schlemmer. Yeah, I was pretty good. I was almost close enough to pass first German. But yeah, all right. But yeah, like I forget what the blue...
The blue
robot,
bomber.
There you go. All right. But you know what the funny thing was? You haven't seen Real Steel yet.
No.
Very, very good movie, I got to tell you. It was actually fantastic. It was like Rocky-esque in how awesome it was. But you'd think that they would take those two names and put them into the movie somehow, since the movie itself was based on Rock'em Sock'em robots. There was one point where you could tell it was complete fan service, where the guy hit the robot and the robot's head flew completely off, because that's always what you secretly wanted to happen.
Yeah.
It's like when you were playing. I know when you were playing your brother. You're sitting there,
of course.
When the head goes up, you're like, yeah, fly off, and it never really does. But that's pretty cool. All right, now the next thing that I got here is our review of NBA 2K12. There might not be basketball in the real world, but you can definitely play some on the Xbox 360, PS3, and the PC as well, I believe. I think it's also on PC. I got to tell you, this year it's really, really cool. If you've ever been a fan of basketball at all, what they did was last year they focused solely on Michael Jordan. It was basically all of his greatest moments, anything that he ever did that was fantastic. You had the opportunity to attempt to match that. So it's like in his game versus Boston early on in his career, I think it was like 1986, his rookie season, they lost the game, but he scored something like 60 points. So you had to try and do that. This year, they picked a whole host of different stars. So, for instance, it was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Larry Bird, Wilt Chamberlain, Philly boy, Julius Erving, Philly player, Patrick Ewing, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan. Again, they had a whole bunch of different stuff for him. Karl Malone, Hakeem Olajuwon, Scottie Pippen, Oscar Robertson, Bill Russell, John Stockton, Isaiah Thomas, and Jerry West. So it's all these characters from all of the different eras of basketball. And the best thing was when you were playing Dr. J, and it was like the late 70s when you were trying to do something with the character, the people on the screen, all the stuff on the screen would look like you were watching TV in the late 70s. So it had like a little bit of fuzz to it, all the text at the bottom. It wasn't like that really, the flying graphics and the spinning stuff that was all around.
Right.
It's just like the plain block letterings that was basically kind of like hovering over the stuff. It kind of looked shaky and stuff like that. It was really cool.
Wow.
And they actually fixed the Create-A-Player to where you weren't drafted directly into the D League to where you had to sit there and play in the minor leagues, because nobody really wants to do that.
No.
It's still pretty hard, and you can still do some pretty cool stuff, but at this point, my players around halfway through the season. We're not going to make the playoffs, but I am due for a contractual raise at the end of the season.
There you go.
After I play out my rookie contract, maybe I can get a little bit of a bump above that. One of the highest grossing three-point players in the league. That's what I'm aiming for. You know what I'm saying?
Go for it.
All right. So we have a whole bunch of fun stuff that's going to be happening beyond that. But, I'm saying if I ever make it big in the NBA, the show might have to take a hit on the nights when we have a game. All right. Your turn.
My turn. All right. What we have here is basically Call of Duty Heist. And this is a story I found which
Get to the
was...
yeah.
Basically over in France, two different occasions where trucks that were carrying the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 were robbed. The whole truck, which is pretty impressive. And they said between the two, the estimated cost was £780,000 or $1 million.
$1 million.
Yeah, so that wasn't too bad. It seemed like they were pretty swift with getting it done and getting it out.
I also know that that's why they put a couple notices out on Xbox Live and the PlayStation Network that your console would actually get banned from the entire network if they found you playing the game before it was released.
Oh.
So I think how soon did that happen? It was like a couple days beforehand, right?
Yeah, it happened on Saturday the 5th, I think.
Okay, so they said that if since it was released on the Tuesday,
yeah,
they said if they found you playing Sunday or Monday, your console would be banned. That doesn't even mean that, if you create a new account, it would work. By the way, my thing died, so you're gonna have to answer all the people in chat.
You got it.
But it doesn't even mean that like your just account would be banned and you could start up another one, pay another $60, and have a whole year all to yourself. Your account would be banned and canceled, so you'd lose the $60, and your console would be forever ban hammered. So anytime you tried to connect to Xbox Live at all, you wouldn't get anything. It was pretty rough. So that's actually one of the biggest problems with the Xbox consoles. Is that they're so good at locking people out who do stupid things that if you were to try and buy one on the secondhand market, you don't really know if that console's already been banned. So, I mean, I'm not a huge apologist for the people who are like, oh, why are you killing off the eBay business? Well, somebody did something stupid. It's not their fault, and the rest of us people on Xbox Live get a better solution because of it.
Yeah.
All right, next little thing we got for you here is pretty cool. This is the Daily Planet made entirely out of Legos. Can you copy that one in? But this is a really cool thing. It's by a gentleman by the name of Mr. Zeno Murphy. And they're saying that this is from over at nerdapproved.com. They're saying this sounds like a villain's name, but he spent 2 months of his life to build this entirely full to-scale Daily Planet building, being attacked by all sorts of manner of malfeasance. And, of course, you have Superman flying to the rescue, and there's like Jimmy's newsstand down at the bottom. There's a comic stand, DC, of course. I love the way that this thing actually puts together all the different little elements that were part of the comic. And it's just really kind of a cool setup, so I just had to share it with the group.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty neat.
All right, next little thing we got for you here. This is a rough, not for the kiddies kind of thing here.
No, this definitely isn't. And this is actually the latecomer into this episode. And what this is PETA recently threw out a statement saying that they don't like the idea of the Tanuki suit from Super Mario because of because they feel that it, encourages animal abuse, which I don't understand because the release of the Tanuki suit was back in 1988.
That was for Super Mario Bros. 3.
Super Mario Bros. 3.
I love the Tanuki suit, man. Got to get me some Tanuki.
Yeah, and it took them 23 years to finally say, oh wait, we don't like the idea. I don't get the idea. But we right before we started recording, they sent out another statement saying, this was just a joke. And
maybe it took them 23 years to code that game that you showed me. There's actually like a little 8-bit horror show game that's have up there.
And all you got to do is just jump. I mean, it's a extremely simple game. It's a little gory, But it's just I think they're just looking for attention right now. I don't think they I don't know.
They do a lot of stuff as a kind of a publicity stunt, and then they kind of back off very quickly when there's some kind of large outpouring of disservice that they feel. It's like people aren't really taking them seriously.
Right.
But there's also a lot of other stuff that they do that it's kind of pretty sad.
Yeah.
It's I mean, seriously, we're talking like 1988. So how many years? You said 23 years.
23 years.
Well, thanks for doing the math there, because I'm you have to get a little pencil and pen and write it down. Then Peter might have problems because I'm using a pencil and a pen.
Yeah,
so it's like it's like, well, you're killing trees to write this down, man.
That's right.
No, they don't care about the trees. They only care about the animals. All right. Next little thing that we got for you here is constructing the folding ukulele. Now, I thought this was pretty insane, so I just put it up here because I don't really understand how it's exactly going to work. But this is a way that you can actually... It's not a papercraft ukulele, so to say. It is a real foldable ukulele that you can actually set as a... You can build it out of the plans that are listed there over on ogizmo.com to actually, to cut out of balsa wood or whatever other kind of wood that can actually take the strain of the strings. But it's pretty scary to think that you can actually fold this down into a tiny little box and then, whip out your ukulele wherever you so need to. But, for instance, if you've been following along over at the CaffiNation.tumblr.com, I've posted stuff by Mr. B, the Gentleman Rhymer, a couple times, and he loves his ukulele, so it's possible that he himself would rock a foldable ukulele. That'd be pretty cool to see, actually.
That actually looks pretty cool.
If I was a little bit better at woodworking, I might try and do it. And you know what? When we get the laser cutter up and running in our new building, that might be a project that we try and do over one summer to see if it actually works. All right, you want to take the next one?
I know you were so hyped up about it.
Oh,
it's
man.
all you.
All right, okay. The next thing that we got up for you here is a papercraft instruction kit to create your own ceiling cat. Now, I think this is hilarious. I'm going to do it to a couple people in work. I'm going to print it out on a nice big plotter sheet. I'm going to cut all the different things out, and I'm going to actually make my own ceiling cat. And I'm going to plan it into different tiles in our building. And whenever I get back to work, this is going to happen. It's not like a maybe happen. It's not like, wouldn't that be funny if somebody did it? I'm going to do this. That's pretty much a fair warning to anybody I work with. In fact, people my wife works with might even come in to find this thing sitting under their desk. I mean, it's pretty bad. It just looks like one of those pranks that you could pull off really easily and really quickly. So I'm all for it.
It'd be quite frightening coming in at 8:30 in the morning and looking up and seeing that.
Well, if you were coming in at 8:30 in the morning, it might be actually frightening. You work overnight.
Touche.
Okay, so I think we may have actually lost the audio recording.
Oh boy.
Yay, for things not going well.
Hold on, let's see.
All right, so we're moving right along to the next thing, and let's see if this actually functions. What I can always do is pull the audio out of the video that we actually show up there, but hey, All right.
They can still hear us.
Okay, that's always good. And they can still see us, so that's good as well, which means it's recording the video somewhere. So, okay. All right, next little thing we got for you here. You want to try this one, Steve?
I'll go for this one. These are the portal bookends, which is actually a neat idea. It's just a simple one in, one out. And
now you're reading with portals.
That's right.
And the story that's messing up both of our computers and actually had all kinds of crazy sounds coming on before we actually did this is actually Occupy Arkham, which if you could please post a link to that one, just copy it out. Don't actually open it. And I'm just going to let everybody know that you shouldn't open this while you're watching the show because this will mess something up because they have all kinds of autoplay video and everything else that's going on over there. So it's all kinds of wonderful. But with the idea behind this is it's a funny little video on over on Dorkly, and what they do is they have Batman arguing for the 1% against the 99% who are occupying what they're saying is Arkham City, but I think that's actually wrong. I think it should be Gotham City.
Yeah.
So just you can put that in your bookmarks, or you can wait for it to actually come out at the end of the CaffiNation. But I thought it was pretty funny, and I just wanted to share it with the group on the Steve Cam.
I was on the Steve Cam. Not anymore.
All right, so the next little thing that we got for you here is moving along to one of the doodles I did while I was all kinds of messed up. Apparently, it was a lot easier to sketch things out than to do anything else. So I just did a doodle, put it out there. A couple people liked it, so I shared it with the group. It was comfort. A small deep brew, slowly wafting sultry scents your way. A promise of comfort, a premise of decadence. So it was a nice big cup of coffee that was sitting in front of me. I was like, you know what? I need to have this in my world. And that picture actually is not a very good one. It was taken with the cell phone kind of hung up like this. So we're going to try and do a couple more CaffiNation doodle things in the near future. But for right now, it's not actually functioning correctly. But all right, moving right along to the next little thing we got for you here is actually a really cool thing. It's green coffee defects. Now, I buy green coffee whenever I can from Sweet Maria's and a couple other places, but I've never thought about the idea that there might actually be bad coffee that's in there. So what they say is that you should actually sort through the beans, and that these are some of the defects that you may or may not notice before you actually roast the coffee so that you can have better tasting coffee at the end. I mean, this is stuff from as simple as, these are good beans, these are black or partial black beans, and they can tell you all the different possibilities. They can show you what mold looks like on a green coffee bean, what sour ones do, what crystallized ones do, which I'm not entirely sure. But this is a really fantastic guide from Dear Coffee, I Love You, so I wanted to share that with that. I also had cut or nipped ones, which I'm not sure really what they would do to the overall stuff, but it's a really good guide to have if you're into home roasting, so I just wanted to share it with the group. The next little link that we have for you here is Siphon Coffee Systems. Now, I've had a couple people ask me how they work, and there's a fantastic video from over at Dear Coffee, I Love You, so I just wanted to share that with the group again. So that one's up there. We're not going to play it on the show because things are rapidly falling apart over here. But all right, and then there's another article, which both Steve and I saw this, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people did as well. Bacon in places that it should not go. To most delicately describe what the article of commerce in front of us is, it cannot be described easily. So we're just going to show it on the screen, and then you can make your own decisions. It's called Bacon Lube, and it's for those private times when you need to smell like bacon. And all of the jokes that you could possibly come up with, Norbert and everybody else in the chat room. Yes, all of them are in all of the marketing copy that comes out with this, and there is nothing else we can say on a family-friendly show, but I had to say something because apparently bacon products get sent to us randomly, like, stories about them, not the actual product. So hopefully this thing won't actually show up, but it was pretty funny, and everybody I've showed it to has actually been thoroughly disgusted by it. It's like there's never a time when you really want to smell like breakfast meat. So, and speaking of breakfasts, the next little thing we got for you, here's the review of our wired waffles. Now, you saw us eating, or me eating them on the show a couple weeks ago, and then Steve got a chance to try them a little bit later. Both Steve and I liked them. He didn't feel as much of a buzz as I did because I didn't have any coffee in them. I didn't have any coffee in me at all, and you had a really nice good night's sleep. So, in the amount of tea you usually drink, I'm saying that you probably wouldn't have felt it anyway, just because it's roughly 200 milligrams of coffee in one league-style waffle, so it's 200 milligrams of caffeine. So it's probably about as much as half of one of those things that you drink.
These things are child's play.
I know. But they did taste pretty good.
They weren't too bad. They were actually pretty good.
They're very cakey. They have all the little explosions of sugar in there as well. So I would highly recommend these, but if you're a hardcore coffee or I don't know, if you're a hardcore caffeine addict like either of us, you're not going to feel a huge buzz, but Steve didn't feel any buzz, but still. Yeah, if you're a hardcore coffee addict like we are, then you're probably not going to feel that much of a buzz or none. But I liked them. I thought they were pretty good. So rather than having your coffee and a pastry in the morning, you roll it all into one price, and for $3.50 you get your own little buzz. So there you go. All right, now the next thing, we tried these out last week, I believe. Mrs. CaffiNation's pumpkin pie brownies. Well, what she did was she took the recipe that we posted a couple weeks ago, and she simplified it and said, make the brownies like you're gonna done make them, and you throw pieces of frozen pumpkin pie into it. And I got to tell you, they are fantastic.
Yeah, they are good.
I ate pretty much the whole row myself. And my mom, when she was coming over the next day, said, oh, save one for me. I was like, oh, man, this is going to be hard. So I had to hide 3 of them because one for each of the family in the other abode. And I don't think your family got any of them.
No.
I know that when we sent them to work with Jen, the rest of them, like the 3/4 of the tray, they were gone by noon.
Wow.
So it was hit hard. And there's only 4 people in our office. So, yeah, they were pretty fun. Then the last story that we got for you here at today's CaffiNation podcast is holiday tea treats. Now, these are some interesting treats that we've actually been shared by the fine folks at Lipton. And you can make these with any of the special kinds of teas that you like. So, for instance, when they talk about using Lipton's natural lemon iced tea with lemon, you can use pretty much any black tea and just add a little bit of lemon. And at the bottom, when they say, Lipton's iced tea with lemon, again, use any kind of black tea, and you're pretty good with that. But there's a sangria recipe for all seasons that I actually look like I'm going to be trying pretty soon, because that looks more like a holiday mulled wine than anything. But there's some relatively interesting stuff that they got put up there. So hopefully you'll find that interesting. And that about wraps it up here for today's CaffiNation 509. Hopefully you found today's episode interesting, and hopefully everything still worked out and nothing was too bad. But I think it was a pretty good show.
Yeah, not too bad.
All right, so I'm a little worried about the state of the audio recording, so we're not entirely sure if that's going to work. So we're going to stop the video recording there, and we're still going to be broadcasting just because that's fun. Oh, wait, the video recording didn't start at all, so that's fantastic as well. So we might not have a show tonight.
That's good.
But I think the video's actually been recording, so we'll see. Maybe we'll type out everything we said. I can't believe that happened.
Oops.
Oh, well. We'll see. Thanks for listening, everybody. Hopefully, is everybody even still there?
Yeah.
Okay. So...
No, Norbert left.
Norbert left? All right. Now we can talk about him all we want. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening into this episode. Hopefully, it actually worked out, and we'll be able to post up the video. The video is not going to appear on Ustream because the record button didn't click correctly, and the computer was all kinds of freezing up anyway. So, it is what it is. Thank you ever so much for listening, and stay caffeinated, people.